Creditors reconciliation. We need to prepare the creditors reconciliation statement in the books of Debbie Stores on 31 May 2028 or 2018, doesn't matter which way you see that. But what's important is you need to know that the creditors reconciliation statements in the books of Debbie Stores. You are Debbie Stores. You are now preparing the reconciliation statement and then calculate the correct balance on the account of Mary Limited. So Mary Limited is your creditor. You are the business. So this is you and this is your creditor. Okay. Right. So the reason why we prepare creditors reconciliations is obviously, first of all, we need accurate financial statements. That is mostly the reason for us preparing all of these reconciliations. Then it also helps us to manage our creditors' accounts, meaning that we need to always know that what we say according to our books is what we owe this creditor. That must agree with what the creditor is saying, because we don't want to be in a situation where there's now conflict, because according to the creditor, we aren't making payment. According to us, we have been making payment, or that there's a possibility of stock going missing because according to us, we ordered the stock, but we never received it. So it's just to ensure that we have recorded all of our transactions. Our payments are up to date because we want to keep a healthy relationship with our suppliers. We don't want interest charge on our accounts. And yes, accurate and complete financial information. So you have been provided with the creditor's ledger of Debbie Stores. In other words, this is your books. Okay, so in your books, I promise I'm trying my best to write neatly with this writing pad. Okay, so this is your books, and Mary Limited is your creditor. According to your books, on the 1st of May, Mary Limited owed you owed Mary Limited 11,000 Rand. Okay, so Mary Limited is your creditor. This is your books. On the 1st of May 2028, Mary Limited, you then owed them 11,000 Rand. That's why there's a credit balance. Then you made, according to you, some payments, some discount that Mary allowed to you. That's why it says discount received. You purchased more from Mary Limited without making payment. You returned some goods. You purchased some more goods on credit, and then you made payment. So according to you, by the end of this month, you owe them 1,200. Let's double check that it is in fact an amount owed. So you started off owing them 11,000. You made payment. They allowed discount. You then purchased a bit more, and then you made payment again. Then you purchased a little bit more, and then you made a 5,800 payment. So you still owe them 1,200. Okay, so if we don't tell you, just double check if it's an amount owed by you, or did you maybe make an overpayment? Next up is that Debbie Stores, so you going to do that. You, the business, receive the following monthly statement from Mary Limited, the creditor. Okay, creditor. We get the idea there. Right, so according to the creditor, on the 1st of May, you owed them 11,000 Rand. Did you owe them though, according to them? Because here it says it has a credit balance. And we know that if this is a statement received from Mary, we are now the customer. It means that here it has to be a debit balance. Remember, because we are their debtor, they are our creditor. So there's already something to investigate. So someone made a mistake here. Right. Then according to them, you made that 10,450 payment. So we are happy with that. We have it on both sides. Then we don't see the discount received on their statement. We do have it in our books, though. So we need to see, did we actually receive this discount or not? Then according to them, invoice 114 is 7,560. According to us, it is 4,800. So we need to investigate that as well. Then returns, a credit note was debited. That's a mistake. A credit note should be on the credit side, so they will credit our debtors account, whilst we will then debit the creditors account. Okay, so remember that returns means that we now return the goods to our supplier. That's why we debited our account, because we no longer owe them. On their side, we are their debtor. So if we return goods to them, we no longer owe them. So they need to credit our account. Then there's also invoice 1182 that we see in their books, but we don't have any record of that. And then there's invoice 1223 that we also do not see on our side, but it is on their side. What we can see on our side that's not on the statement is the last two items. And that is most probably because their statement date is the 25th of May, and this happened on the 31st of May. So it's after the statement date, so we probably will still see this on the June statement. Okay. Then the additional information says that when comparing the creditor's ledger against the statement of account, the following differences were noted. So in your additional information, they will now tell you all of these things that you have highlighted where things look a bit strange, someone made a mistake. They will tell you in the additional information who's right, whose books do you now have to go and adjust. Remember that if it is your own books, you are going to go and make the corrections in your own ledger. However, if it is that the supplier made a mistake, you are going to take this to the reconciliation statement, because the reconciliation statement is you saying, I cannot now go and adjust the supplier's financial records. However, what I can do from my side is I can say the balance that they had on their statement, the amount with which they started, I'm going to start with that, and then I'm just going to indicate where they made mistakes, where they missed something, where adjustments need to be made on their side for their balance to agree with what I have in my books. Okay, so reconciliation, you basically doing this whilst waiting for the next statement that will have all of the corrections, and then you will be happy because then you agree to what the supplier has on their side. Okay, so it says that, first of all, Mary forgot to record the discount for the early settlement on the 4th of May. So they're not saying anything about that opening balance anywhere. So we need to now see that, okay, they made a mistake. We will just indicate that this needs to go to the debit side because we know that in our supplier's books, we have a debit balance. So your starting point is, there we go. Just want to quickly do this so that I can see everything all at once and not jump around in between sheets. Okay, so your first thing is you need to start with your balances. So your reconciliation statement starts with the balance as per the statement. In other words, the balance as per the statement received from the supplier. So there we go. That is 11,000 Rand. I think I'll type this so that you guys don't have to deal with the writing of this thing. Okay, so there we go, 11,000. And this is now the one column method. You can also be asked to do the two column method. I just want to see, no, there's no two column method here. Okay, so if you want to maybe just write there DR so that you don't forget if you are doing the two column method, that you don't forget what has to go where. Okay, so that's what you're starting with. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to tick off. I'm going to say that I have used that. I'm happy. Then, as per the creditor's ledger, your balance is currently 1,200. So there you go. So as per the ledger, as per your books, you are saying that the balance is 1,200. So we always start with the end balance and then we just fix whatever went wrong. So Mary forgot to record the discount for the early settlement on the 4th of May. So they're not saying we were wrong in recording the discount. They're saying that Mary Limited made the mistake. They just forgot about it. So it is already in your books. Therefore, you will not change your creditors ledger, but you will go to the creditors reconciliation statement and you will say that there is outstanding discount that we are waiting for. Once this discount reflects on the statement, it will be an additional credit entry. I'm thinking one thing and typing another. Okay, so it's an additional credit entry because remember, in the creditors books, you are their debtor. So if they allow you discount, then you will owe them less money. And the amount that you owe them less is 550. So obviously, if you are doing the double column, the debit credit, you won't have brackets. But because I'm using the one column method, I'm indicating a credit with brackets there. So that means that we are now happy with that one as well. Nothing more to do there. And we tick it off so we don't get confused. Then invoice 1182 shown on the statement of account on the 19th of May was in fact for purchases made by Peter Traders. So remember, invoice 1182 is one of the invoices that we indicated as we need to investigate this because we don't have it in our books. They are now saying we are correct. It shouldn't be in our books because this was a purchase made by Peter Traders. We are not Peter Traders. We are Debbie stores. Therefore, the supplier has to remove it from their books. So they just have to say, okay, my mistake. This is an error. Or you can say correction of error. And this is for invoice 1182. So what they did is they added this onto your account, but it shouldn't be there. So you are going to say that they need to remove it. So they need to credit your account with the full invoice amount, and then they must go and allocate it to the correct data on their side. So it's only the 1,000 Rand that I'm removing because the only error here is that the 1,000 Rand shouldn't be there. So to get rid of the 1,000 Rand, I'm just going to credit the account. So that means that I'm done with this one. We are all happy. Okay, right. So still a few things that we need to investigate here. Next up, Mary granted us a trade discount of 10% on invoice 1140. So let's go to invoice 1140. We are saying it's 8,400. They are saying, no, it's okay. We're giving you discount. It's actually only 7,560. So the statement is correct. You need to now fix your ledger. So you're going to go to the ledger and you're going to say that, okay, I actually had some discount received, but this is trade discount received. So trade discount that you received. So in other words, whatever it is that you purchase, what did you purchase? Oh, they didn't say. They just said we received the discount. So it might be trading stock, might be something else. So let's say it's trading stock. So your trading stock purchase is actually less than what you thought it was. You thought it was 8,400, but it is actually only 7,560. So you're going to find the difference between those two amounts because remember, of the 8,400, 7,560 must be in your ledger. You must now only remove whatever you have there in excess of that amount. So find the difference. So 840 Rand is what you now need to remove from your ledger. So remember that you on your side have the credit balance. So you are now going to debit that because you actually don't owe them that money, right? So we are happy with this one as well. We've used the 1148 and we have ticked it off here as well. We go here and we are happy. Then Mary made an error in processing debit order 56. We know, we already saw that. Okay, so debit note 56. So debit note 56. We didn't make a mistake. We have the debit note on the debit side. We don't owe them anymore because we returned the goods to them. However, what they did is they included this 2,600 Rand on the credit side, on the debit side, and it should be on the credit side. So let's go have a look there. So they need to correct their error. So correction of error, and this is for the debit note. And the amount there is 2,600 Rand. Now the question is, are they going to debit or credit our account? Also, there's something else you need to remember regarding this 2,600 Rand. So maybe, wait, let me first delete that. Let me not confuse you guys now. Okay, so what they did here is they said they are going to debit our account with the credit note. So credit note. They are going to debit that with 2,600, or at least that's what they did. Okay, so if we now say, okay, to get rid of this debit, we are going to credit the account. What does that mean for your balance here? It means that there's a zero effect, right? So in other words, you cannot say only credit 2,600. That's wrong, because that will result in you having a zero effect. You want to show 2,600 on your credit side. So that's why if it's an error in the sense of it's been posted to the incorrect side of the account, then you must adjust for double that amount. So you must now say credit 5,200, because that way you are getting rid of this 2,600, and then you will be left with 2,600 here on the credit side. Okay, so we are going to credit. I answered my own question that I still wanted you to think about, because we are crediting, and the amount is 5,200, that we are saying that we no longer owe them that amount because we have returned the goods to them. Just give me a moment real quick, please. Okay, I'm back. Right. So that was then the debit note that we have corrected. So we said that we must credit double that amount. Just real quick, I told you so beautifully, please do the month end, and then I use the opening balance. There we go. So that is the month end balance, and then we're going to fix it from there onwards. Okay, right. Sorry, that just caught my eye now when I scrolled up. Okay, so next up, what we have to do is we have to, first of all, tick off to say that, yes, we are happy. And then we need to see what does it say about the information that we now haven't yet used. And it says that all other entries in the creditors ledger and on the statement were correct. So in other words, everything that we did, apart from the stuff that we have now already fixed or adjusted, those amounts are correct. So it is like we said right at the start when we said that it's on the 31st, whereas the statement date is the 25th. So it makes sense for us to not have that on the statement yet, because the statement date is the 25th. So we have here an outstanding invoice, and that is 1296. And that means that we owe them more money. So on their side, they are going to debit our account to show that we owe them more money. And that amount is 1,200. So we ordered stock. It's not on the statement yet. But there's also an outstanding EFT 1335 that they will then credit our account with, because we made payment as their debtor. We don't owe them that amount anymore. So 5,800. Okay, so that means we have all of what we have in our books, we have in the reconciliation statement, and we have also adjusted for some errors and other outstanding items. Right, then Mary is showing, so we've already ticked off all of that. Mary is showing that there's also a delivery fee that we do not yet have. So we also have here a delivery fee that will increase our trading stock and the amount that we then owe them. So if we owe them more, we are crediting our creditors ledger with the amount of 300 Rand. Okay, right. So now we start calculating our balances and then we just hope and pray that we balance. So probably wouldn't have if I didn't see my 11,000 Rand there. So 12,010. So that's your closing balance that you are now adjusting to see what the balance as per statement will be once they have corrected all of their errors and included amounts not yet reflecting on the statement. Minus 5,800. So that's 660. Okay. Have you started holding the thumbs there yet? Let's see what happens here. So in our books, we said we owe them 1,200 Rand, but then we heard of that trade discount. So we removed that amount. Plus we added the delivery fee that we didn't have previously. Oh gosh, come on. So we owe them 660 Rand, and that is the exact same amount. So just watch out for this. I was so sorry.
Mrs. Redmond, please come through to Mrs.
Sorry, guys. So we always start, like I said, I just didn't type that. We always start with the closing balance as per the statement received and the closing balance as per our creditors ledger. And we then just fix whatever went wrong. Because remember, you can't start with the opening balance because then you're going to first have to record every single thing that has been correctly recorded and then make the adjustments. It doesn't make sense, especially if you're going to have like a really long statement. So you start with your closing balance and then you just fix what went wrong. But yeah, over here, that was then correct. It should have been debit, not credit. So at least we know that that check worked out perfectly fine. Okay, that is your creditors recon.